Hi there, and welcome to Elite City Pod. We are at Elite City Pod on all of our socials. I'm Jay, and I'm joined by Rick and Biddy. Hi, Rick. Hi, Biddy.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you guys doing?
Good. I'm
I
good.
feel light.
Feel
Great.
light. That's good.
Today
That's good.
on our episode tonight, we are previewing Full Gear that's coming up this Saturday. Everybody excited for that?
Yeah, it's an interesting pay-per-view, I think.
Yeah, it's a neat card. I'm kind of interested in it. Should we get started then?
Yeah, what I just want to say, what I noticed is they don't have, like, some of the titles aren't being defended. Usually they like jam in every single title they can possibly jam in.
I noticed that as well.
But there's no international title, there's no women's title, there's no trios title, which apparently is still a thing. Yeah, but the Rizzler will be there.
Oh boy.
What?
I don't know who or what the Costco guys are, and I am 40 years old and don't need to learn new things, so I refuse. If you know, don't look it up. Don't do any unnecessary work on this. But who or what are the Costco guys?
I have no idea, and I don't want to know.
No clue other than maybe a TikTok thing.
All right.
I saw a clip that they were on Jimmy Fallon, and he looked super annoyed. It was on Blue Sky or whatever, floating around. And I was like, wow, it said something to the effect of, like, these guys are that bad that even Jimmy Fallon.
Who's like nice to literally everyone.
Yes. That's all I know about these guys. Like, I don't do influencers. I don't like youth culture. No.
Sounds pretty skibbity if you ask me.
I don't know what that means.
I'm not sure either. I don't even think the kids who use it know what it means, to be honest. I think they just do it because they know it pisses everyone else off.
Probably. That actually brings us to our the first part of the card, Big Boom, AJ with Big Justice versus QT Marshall.
I refuse to predict.
I also refuse.
Also, yes, all three of us.
I don't care.
I'm glad we are all on the same page there. So last night, Adam Cole came out, and we had a little heart-to-heart with Kyle O'Reilly, and then we went on to Roderick Strong, and he had a message for MJF.
Yeah, could they make this any more confusing?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Like, they've made it very confusing.
It's like a love triangle.
But it's not even a love triangle because, like, MJF is mad at Adam Cole for screwing him over. Sure, that makes sense. But Adam Cole is mad at MJF for what exactly?
I have no clue. It's so confusing. It's like a love.
He says that he's mad at him because he thinks he would have turned on him eventually.
It's like a love deck.
But he's mad at him for something he didn't actually do. And then Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong is just like, I want to fight MJF too, but I don't know why. Does anyone know why?
No.
Like, why did Roderick Strong really want to face MJF? I'm not quite sure why. He just wanted to.
I mean, just go back to, like, that Roderick always knew MJF was going to screw him over or whatever, and that's why, I guess. I don't know.
It's very weird. And I don't think anyone really cares about this. The audience doesn't even really seem to care about this.
No, they were not very invested last night. And then, I mean, they brought out Roderick, and he made this cute little, I mean, it was very, like, classic propaganda. They had him out in his glasses, and he, came out, and he's like, you might feel bad for me. Like, he had this really, like, heartfelt, not a sob story, but it was very from the heart kind of feeling, like, here, like cheer for me, root for me kind of a thing. Like, it was definitely, like, straight up, like, if that was propaganda, it would have, like, I would have fallen for it. Like, oh, yeah, Roddy, And then, of course, we also heard from MJF. And that was
that seemed weird to me because suddenly out of nowhere, MJF's like, oh, by the way, your mom shot your dad. Anyway.
Yeah.
To the match. Like, it was like they just, like, dropped that in there. Like it was a thing that we all just knew.
Like, ooh, burn. You got me.
It was very weird. It was very weird. I don't know. This whole thing isn't doing it for me. They should have when MJF came back and just beat up Adam Cole. That should have been it, and just dropped it and moved on to other things because I don't get it.
I feel like they kind of put this whole thing in with Adam Cole because it kind of was a nod, like when Kyle came out and they talked about that we had our, like, second match ever here. I think, Central Pennsylvania was really big for a lot of those guys in the company, in the indies. I mean, that's where I want to say Cesaro because that's where my brain's going, but
Claudio.
Claudio. I mean, that's where he started. He had that big like oversized suit out, when they wrestled with IWC out in Central Pennsylvania. A lot of those guys started from there and then built their careers up. So, I mean, it kind of was a nice little homage to that, but it didn't blend well with the whole thing with MJF.
Yeah, I just
They
don't
were
know why
like,
any of them want to face MJF.
right? Why?
It's fine if the three of them have like a thing, like Roderick Strong and Adam Cole and Kyle have like we're gonna work this out. We've had problems in the past, whatever. But what does any of this have to do with MJF? I don't know.
It doesn't. I don't know. I feel like MJF will just win because it's
Yeah,
MJF.
I feel like MJF doesn't. This is like his most phoned in feud of all time. He's not even there. He just like sends in videos.
This isn't a video
of him in like a weird creepy house where he just like
right.
Yeah.
brooding in this weird house somewhere. Like
it looks like a hostel, like in another country.
It's very weird. This is he literally just filmed like 10 things in an hour, sent it in, and it was like took a month off. It's very weird.
Yeah.
I say MJF wins because I think Adam Cole screws over Roderick Strong.
I also think Adam Cole gets involved in this somehow. Otherwise, why else would they have done that on last night?
I don't know if he purposely screws over Roderick Strong or accidentally screws over Roderick Strong, but I think he does. And I think it might be, I wanted to beat MJF, so I don't want you to do it. I want to do it.
I agree. I don't know. I think MJF's winning.
Yeah.
And then he'll go back to just disappearing again, I guess, or I don't know.
Will he ever come back? I don't know. So next we have on the card Jay White versus Adam Hangman Page. So we rarely see Jay White these days. He comes around once in a while. I would love to see more of Jay White, honestly. I think he's a great wrestler. I honestly think this is a match that Jay's going to win because Hangman is just so broken. I think they're going to continue that momentum forward.
Yeah, I think Hangman needs to go more crazy. They've kind of been leaning really? On Jay White's always kind of had his number.
Mm-hmm.
And they showed like the old ROH and the New Japan clips and stuff where he always has it. And I like that. Like they it's an advantage to them owning ROH because AEW doesn't have that much history, but they can show a clip from 10 years ago in ROH and it's like they have all this history. So yeah, mm-hmm. I think they're leaning towards, he's always had his number and he still has his number and that Hangman's going to go extra nuts and I don't know.
Yeah, Hangman's going to like really go off the deep end, like way off the deep end.
He's very into gardening if you follow him on Blue Sky.
He has some lovely flowers.
Leaves are plants.
Leaves is plants.
Leaves is plants. That's right.
Leaves is plants.
Leaves is plants.
But yeah, I think Jay White because I think I want to see Hangman go extra crazy.
Yeah, and I would like to see a win from Jay also. I feel like he always kind of
he needs to do something.
I feel like every time Jay's out there for a pay-per-view or something, it's just like, oh, here's Jay White, and then there goes Jay White. So it'd be cool to see him actually come out on top.
He is really good. I do want to see him do more things. And
right, I think he's great.
Bang Banging is hilarious. So they should be around more often. So yeah, I hope it's Jay White.
Yeah, he's great. I think he's up there in the top. He should be featured a lot more, I think. Personally, that's how I feel about Jay White. So we also have kind of a confusing 4-way tag team match also on the card.
Yes.
For the AEW World Tag Team Championship, not the triples like Rick mentioned, which is odd. So we have Private Party, who are the reigning champions, versus the Outrunners and Kings of the Black Throne, which is a cool name. I like that anyway. And the Acclaimed. So what do we think is going to happen?
This is a tough one because I want to pick House of Black, Kings of the Black Throne. Mm-hmm. But Private Party just won the belts like really recently.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're going to lose them right away. I'm going to go Kings of the Black Throne. I'm skeptical on that choice though.
See, I was kind of thinking the same thing. Like it's too early for Private Party to lose. They just got it a couple weeks ago. That was the show Ryan watched.
Yeah, that was like a big deal, them winning, and I don't think they've defended it since.
No, and I think it was a big deal because it was just a Wednesday night Dynamite. It wasn't a pay-per-view. It wasn't anything special. It was just a regular Wednesday night show, and they took the tag team. Do we think the Bucks might get involved?
I kind of hope not because I want the Bucks to stay away from the tag titles.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't think they do.
I
I'm
think if
think
they do, I think if they do get involved, it'll be with the Moxley stuff, not with the tag
Yeah.
titles anymore.
Okay. I could see that.
I could see the Hurt Syndicate getting involved though, because they've been talking to the Acclaimed,
Mhm.
so I
Mhm.
could see them getting involved somehow.
that's
I
what Blasco thinks is going to happen.
Yeah. Blasco also gave us his predictions. He's dead, by the way. I don't know if we mentioned that.
Oh yeah, I guess we should have mentioned that.
Yeah, we should
Oh,
mention
yeah.
Blasco's dead. So, he did give us his predictions though.
His last words were, "Remember, I picked the Outrunners." Did
You
he pick
guys
the
can-
Outrunners? I don't remember who
No,
he
he
picked.
didn't. He said Private Party retains, but the Acclaim split up.
I do
Oh,
think something happens with the Acclaimed, and I think it might be. I think they're making it seem like Max Caster is going to leave because he's been more receptive to MVP. But I think it might be Bowens who leaves. There's a
Interesting.
kind of little
that's
swerve there.
interesting. Yeah. I would love for it to be Kings of the Black Throne just because I think, Malachi is like just so cool and I love the House of Black, the aesthetic. I love everything about it. But I still feel like it's too early for Private Party to lose. I think, yeah, this is their first defense of the title and I don't see them dropping it yet.
Yeah,
Because
I can see
it was
that.
just too big of a deal, you know?
Yeah.
I agree with you. Also, I also think Jay White wins. I never said my prediction.
I'm sorry.
It's
Did I
okay.
skip over you?
It's okay.
I'm new to this.
Biddy's going to win anyway, so we just try to gloss over her
She
picks.
always
no,
wins.
so
She
now,
always wins.
but now I'm like, you're making me nervous, and now I'm overthinking everything.
That's all part of our plan.
I
That's
But
what
know.
I also could see this 4-way tag team match just not ending cleanly. I could also see this kind of being like a big shit show in a sense.
Yeah,
Like,
see, I could see that like Malachi or Brody King pinning like Max Caster and winning the
mhm.
belts, and then Private Party didn't actually lose. So
Right, because they didn't get pinned. Yeah,
yeah,
I could kind of see this going that way too.
if Malachi loses, he's going to do something overly dramatic to lose.
He
He
always
can't.
does.
He can't just lose a match. He has to like bow or sit or something. He's like the most dramatic match of all time. Is remember when he fought Cody, like at the beginning of his run in AEW, and Cody lost, and then he like took off his boots and was like, "I'm retiring, guys." And Malachi was like, "Yes, you should." And it's just a wrestling match, guys. Move on.
Yeah.
They're both very over dramatic wrestlers.
Yeah. It's kind of like with his, like I said, the aesthetic though. He was even like that in WWE, very dramatic, very
Yeah.
kind of brooding, and like that was kind of, I think that's just his thing that he's into.
And he makes like, and in one sense, I like it. Like he makes everything have meaning. But in
hmm
the other sense, he's like, no, but that strand of hair was in a different spot. Don't you remember like 6 months ago when this strand of hair was in that spot? It meant something. And I'm like, I like that.
Are
But I
the
also,
lights are the lights going to go out in this match, Rick?
oh yeah,
We're gonna have to.
yeah, yeah.
As Ryan said, how did you not know you were holding somebody else's hand?
I love that. I love that. When the lights went up and he switched hands and it was just like, what? He changed hands? How?
How did you not know?
How did Adam Cole not realize someone let go of his hand? And then someone else grabbed his hand.
I
Unless
really
we're
want
supposed to believe they just switched bodies.
maybe.
Maybe.
I really want more of Ryan's perspective every week. I love it. So we have another singles match, also for the TBS Championship, which my absolute favorite, Mercedes Moné, with Camille versus Chris Statlander.
Okay, so before we pick, what do you think of Mercedes' run as TBS champion?
I'm not impressed.
I'm not super impressed either. I love Mercedes, but I'm not super impressed with
I'm
what
not.
she's been doing.
No, it's not the level that I know she can be from her past, what she's done. I feel like she could do so much better. I mean, she's a great heel. She is a fantastic heel. She always has been. But I feel like the run just isn't, it's not like, doesn't have a lot of momentum behind it.
Yeah. I think AEW's had this problem when they bring in like a big star from WWE. They did it with Danielson and they did it with Punk, where like the first couple months of them being there are just seemingly random matches. It's just like, we're gonna have them be in this match, and then they're gonna be in this match, and then like, but it's not really a story. It's just like she's just had a bunch of matches with people, and her stuff with Willow was good, but the rest of it was all kind of just like now, hey, she hasn't faced Sheeta yet. I'm like, okay, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
I kind of feel like it's fallen kind of flat. I mean, because she's great. We know she's a great wrestler. She's great on the mic. She's great at what she does. But this whole run has just fallen. I think just like you said, there's no story. There's nothing to push it forward. It's just, hey, Mercedes has a match. Mercedes has a match.
Yeah, and I like her character. Like, I like her as a
Mhm.
heel. She's way better as a heel. I like that she's like the cocky heel,
Mhm.
but she hasn't I don't know, hasn't done much with it.
No. No, and I mean, I don't know. Do you think she's gonna turn on Camille? Do you think, or I mean, maybe do you think Camille's gonna turn on her?
I
Because
think Camille might turn on her.
the
Yeah.
way she treats her, I mean,
Mhm.
she's very bossy with her. Like, get in there, go do, like when in the ring last night. She's like, go in there, get in there.
I was
If
thinking, and I can't think of who it should be, but is she going to replace her? Like, Camille screws up, and then she's like, well, I have a new bodyguard. I don't need you anymore.
Yeah.
Though I don't know who that could be, but I could see her just replacing her with someone else.
Mhm.
Like, you've screwed up too often. I'm going to get somebody else to protect me because you
I
can't do
mean,
it.
that would be cool if they turned it into that. Like Camille turns on Mercedes because like, hey, you treated me like dirt and I'm just as good as you are. I want that title. I mean, that would be a fantastic direction to go.
Yeah, that would be good.
But it just doesn't
But
feel like they're going in any direction with Mercedes.
yeah, I'm confused by the storyline too because I don't think Statlander will win. I would like if Statlander won. I
Mhm.
like her. She's really good.
Mhm.
But I can't. This would be kind of underwhelming if this is how Mercedes lost the belt because she hasn't really done all that much with it. Like, besides the Willow feud, I like the Willow feud a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
But after, like, to just have her lose, like, this is a feud. Like, they've had an actual feud. They've
Mhm.
been, but it was weird how like Statlander just turned face randomly.
Right. It was so random.
I don't know. I don't like this. I don't like what they're doing right now
Mm-mm.
with this. I'm gonna say Mercedes wins, though. I
I
think
think she will.
yeah, I think Camille might turn, but I don't think it's gonna cost her the belt.
No, I think Mercedes is still going to hold on to it for a while, only because she is such a huge draw to the company. I also feel like, okay, maybe she's not doing anything like out of this world with this belt, but maybe if she has it for a while, she'll kind of be like, it'll be like kind of like the workhorse title that they call it.
Yeah,
You know,
but
because
the
she's
TBS
carried it.
title's kind of been lost for a long time too. Like, they haven't done much with it.
Right, so maybe she's gonna kind of bring that back to the forefront because it's not a major title like a world championship. It's
Yeah,
just the TBS title. I think it
right.
would be neat if she kind of carries it to a higher elevation, but it needs a little more more substance to the story,
Yeah.
personally,
Well,
I think.
before we move on, while we're talking about the women's division, there is no women's title match, but there is a women's title celebration, which I have to see. Like,
Well, of course you do. I mean, look at what they were doing to Renee. Of course you have to watch
we
it.
haven't. We're taping this. We're recording this. Taping sounds like I'm a 80-year-old man. Recording this on Thursday.
Are
So
you
Rampage.
taping it on your VCR?
Yes, I hit tape. I got to make sure I get the long play tape so I have enough space on it, enough time. Tape over that little thing on the VHS tape so that you can record on it, because if you break that tab off, it doesn't work anymore. But yeah, we're recording this on Thursday, and Rampage hasn't aired yet. It happened. It's taped, but I don't know what happened. But the fact that they're doing Mina and Mariah against Nyla Rose and Harley Cameron, that could be the funniest thing
I
ever
know.
recorded.
I
They're
wish
all hilarious.
I know, and I wish they'd let Nyla be funnier instead of like this
Yeah.
mean, nasty, like big beast. I mean,
I mean,
they
maybe
should let her be
will,
funny.
because they're all funny in this match. So like Harley
Yeah.
Cameron's hilarious too. So maybe they'll do something funny with them, because that would be great. Like, Nyla should be something more than just angry.
Did you see Nyla making fun of Jay Leno on Blue Sky?
Yeah. Oh, Nyla on like the internet is hilarious. Like,
I
her
know, isn't
social
she
media
so
is
funny?
great.
She's hilarious.
Now, do you think Tony Storm comes back for this celebration?
Oh, wouldn't that be something?
I
I
think she
love
gets
Tony.
involved.
I mean, yeah, because there was wasn't there? I think Blasco said at AEW in Pittsburgh they had those newspaper things. It's like, what happened to Tony?
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of been a running thing. Like, what
And
happened to
someone at
Tony? Where did she
the
go?
Full Gear, for some reason, someone at the Full Gear press conference that Tony Khan had today, some reporter asked if Tony Storm was still going to be wrestling. I don't know why. Like, what indication you would think that she's not going to be wrestling?
Right.
And all Tony Khan said was that reports of her demise have been greatly exaggerated. So I think she's going to, like, maybe she'll come back as like she was dead and she'll return. I don't know. But I can see her coming back during this champagne celebration and getting involved with, because I don't know if you noticed yesterday, Mina, when Mariah was like basically telling off the whole division that they suck, Mina
Yeah.
looked kind of upset that she was acting like that. Like Mina wants like bubbly, fun Mariah May, not
Yeah,
like angry,
Mina's
violent
very
Mariah May.
right. Yeah.
So I think Tony might come back and try to steal Mina from Mariah. Maybe, I don't know.
I would love to see that. Yeah, I still think this feud could keep going. I
We
mean,
can keep it
it
going.
was
Yeah.
it was so good. How
Yeah.
right.
And Mariah May's another one. Like her title reign, like she's had good matches, but she hasn't really had a big story either.
Right.
So having her, I would like to see Tony like, oh, you took my title from me, but I'm
gonna take your girl.
I'm taking Mina. Yeah,
I'm gonna
that
take
would
your
be fun.
girl.
That
I
would be
love
fun.
absolutely unhinged Tony Storm. She's great.
Yeah, I want Tony Storm back. She's amazing.
She's just the best. She really was like the best storyline of this year. Her and Mariah, I think.
She
just
really was. Yeah.
top notch.
And it kind of came out of nowhere. Like no one expected that, but
Right.
yeah, it's great.
It's fantastic. Should we wait for Biddy?
Nah, just move on. She's gonna win
Okay.
anyway.
I know. She always wins.
She can just say she forfeit.
She's
Count to
all-
10, and then if she doesn't respond,
Yeah.
she loses. Yeah.
Like Darby last night.
But you have to count 1 through 8 really, really fast, and then 9
Yeah.
and 10 you have to talk
9.
really, really slowly.
10.
I love that in wrestling where like the person is completely dead, and then at 9 they jump up and run into the ring. I'm like, but wait, you couldn't move like 2
I love
seconds
that
ago.
they're like, Darby's out. JR's the only one with the mic on. He's like, he's out cold. As Darby's like looking at, like getting up himself. He's out cold.
Now, before we move on, Dynamite was weird yesterday because we're going to talk about Swerve and Bobby Lashley. They talked about like at the first segment in the show, they were like, "Oh, Bobby Lashley's going to have a 2-on-1 match tonight," and I was like, "That's weird," out of nowhere. And then MVP announced like 20 minutes
we have an
later,
announcement. Yeah, we have an
to make.
announcement.
Bobby Lashley's going to have a 2-on-1 match, and then the announcers were like, "What? A 2-on-1? You just said it. Like you just told us about it. You knew."
Right.
Like I know that was taped. Obviously recorded in advance.
Yeah.
But like the announcers should know that hasn't aired yet. Like it was very weird.
Unless they didn't know. I mean, they didn't know when it was going to air. Maybe they thought it was going to be like prior to everything. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Like maybe they thought that was opening the show or something. But
maybe
they should know that then if they don't. Like, and I feel like that makes a lot of sense. AEW seems like they do a lot of good stuff, but then a lot of like weirdly inconsistent stuff. Yeah. Maybe they don't have like a showrunner who's in charge of making sure it's all consistent. Like maybe
Possibly.
They don't have that person.
It could be
or maybe it's
people.
Tony Khan and he's doing 75 other jobs.
Right. And it could be like multiple people running the show and then nobody's in communication with each other.
Yeah.
It does feel like that a little bit. It almost feels a little disorganized sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, sorry for going off topic.
No. That's great. I did want to touch on that, like the Darby match for a minute. What's next? Oh, speaking of Bobby Lashley, Swerve Strickland versus Bobby Lashley. I feel like this will be a win for Bobby because he's coming in from WWE and he's a big guy, like big name. I mean, Swerve is great. We know Swerve is great. He's just a cool guy, but I really feel like this is going to be a push for Bobby.
And Swerve can lose, and it doesn't really matter.
No, like, Swerve will still be popular. He'll still be over. Yeah, I think there's not much else to add to that. Bobby's a big guy.
And I like what they did yesterday with the 2-on-1 match. I thought it was weird to have his debut match in a 2-on-1 match, but then it kind of puts some doubt into it because if his very first match was against Swerve, you're like, oh, he's not going to lose his very first match.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's not actually his very first match.
Right.
He had his very first match and he won it really convincingly. So, yeah, but I still think he wins.
Those guys were flying last night.
Do you think anyone else joins the Hurt Syndicate during this? There's been talk about like Leo Rush. There's been talk about he's given Ricochet a card.
Well,
cards too?
Wasn't Leo with Bobby in WWE for a while?
Yeah.
So I could kind of see that happening.
And they were good together. I remember them being entertaining.
Yeah.
I could see Leo. I could see it being Leo.
Leo was a good mouthpiece for Bobby. He was a good out there on the mic.
Now he has MVP as a mouthpiece, like he doesn't need another one. Right. But like adding in another guy who can talk is always good.
Yeah, Leo's very good at talking crap. He's a smack talker for sure.
And that could he could cost Swerve. Like if Leo comes in and joins the Hurt Syndicate, that can be why Swerve, and then Swerve can still have another match. Like this can continue.
Right.
So
right. Yeah, I see Bobby winning, and I don't see it being a good or a bad thing. It's just something that happens.
Yeah.
So
Biddy, does Bobby Lashley win?
I don't know. Swerve's been taking a lot of L's lately.
Yeah, but I think he can take it. I think he's fine. Like he has, but I think he could lose every match and be over.
yeah, and he's not like Hangman. Like he's not going that direction when he loses either.
Well, I'm gonna say Bobby because Swerve's shoulder is messed up, so this would like write him off for a bit if he loses.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, that makes sense too. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Swerve did only come back because they had that pay-per-view in Washington, where he's from.
Yeah. Well, he just,
So-
but yeah, he posted that picture of his shoulder, and yeah. So I think Lashley wins, and then Swerve is out for a bit, getting his shoulder fixed.
And you didn't pick Mercedes versus.
I think
Statlander.
Chris is gonna win.
You think
Oh,
Chris is
there
gonna
you
win?
go.
Okay,
All right.
that'd be cool either way. I'm
I
cool
love
with
Chris. That would be great.
Yeah,
if he
I
won.
like both of them. I'm cool either way.
Yeah.
All right. So this next match we're gonna talk about it's pretty heated. Very personal. There was quite the promo last night with the bus.
I like that. That was fun.
That was good. It's been a while since I've seen something like that with AEW.
And my favorite thing about it was AEW has always been good at this. They explain why there's a camera there.
Yeah. He
Like,
stole
they
that
said-
camera.
He stole the camera. Okay.
He stole the
that makes
camera.
sense.
It's great. It's great.
And
Now
they
it's-
explain why they didn't air that on Collision because they're like, oh, it's a remote camera. It lost connection to the satellite truck, and we just got the recording back today. Okay, fine. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
It's
Even
such
if
a
it
neat.
doesn't make perfect sense, you tried to explain it,
It's-
and I'm happy that you
It's
did.
such a neat little tidbit that they do. I really enjoy that. So this
They've
is
always done a really good job at not having like a random camera. You know,
Mhm.
WWE always has like, okay, we're gonna share our secret plans. Nobody else is around, and then there's clearly a
and they're
camera in
looking
his
right
face.
at the camera.
Yeah, they're looking right at the camera.
Whisper,
This is
whisper.
how we're gonna screw them over later on, and the opponent has no clue that conversation happened, even though it just aired on
And
national
it aired, and the
television.
whole audience is going, "Oh!"
So yeah, AEW does a good job explaining why the camera's there.
I like
And
it.
I love that they tied him to the bus, they smashed through a bunch of stuff. Then they just. Do you think he might still be tied up to that chair because like no one helped him?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they just left him there with the camera.
Yeah.
They're like, "Hey, you'll find your camera. Come get it."
So when he escaped, assuming he escaped, did he then bring the camera back to AEW and be like, "You can share this footage on Dynamite"?
Yeah, look what they did to me. Look what they did to me.
I want the world to know.
I'm going to HR about this.
I have evidence. Yeah, your mistake was recording it.
Going to
If you're
HR.
gonna kidnap a coworker and torture them, you don't record it because then everyone else will see. But that was fun. I liked it.
That was a cool promo. I really like that. So I think, honestly, this will be a very gritty, a very, very violent match because it's very personal. I mean, especially based on the promo, you tied him to the bus and then you drove the bus into things. I mean, like, come on. Yeah, I think this is going to be crazy. I could even see it. I think Jack is going to win. But I also could see it being like a disqualification or something, interference coming out. It's just because it's just going to be so, I think, brutal compared to the others.
Yeah, I agree. I think Jack Perry will win, and I think it might be because Daniel Garcia isn't willing to go as violent as he
As
needs
Jack.
to go. Like he got like he seemed like he was like what's what I'm looking for? He was hesitant to like
hmm
torture him anymore. So maybe that's I don't know. I think that might be what causes him to lose.
I can see that. Yeah, being like he won't go the same distance that Jack will go for the victory.
Yeah.
What do you think, Betty?
Yeah, I was kind of going back and forth about this one, but yeah, I think you guys are right that Garcia won't go far enough and Jack will, and so he'll retain.
Mhm.
Yeah, he'll like set him on fire or something stupid. like
Real
And then-
glass.
yeah. Or there'll be an option like Daniel Garcia will have a lighter and like gas and like Daddy Magic will be like burn him, and he'll be like no, I can't do
I
it. And
can't
then-
do it.
yeah. I do like Jack Perry though. He's been doing well with this like weird kind of
Yeah.
creepy angry guy gimmick. I like it.
Yeah.
He's
Once
out
again,
of the elite.
who-
He's done the best
who-
job.
who called the heel turn? Me.
He did.
Biddy always wins.
That's
I'm
right.
like the house. The house always wins.
Never bet against Biddy.
You didn't call him being the sole reason they're top-selling star walked out of the company, though. You didn't know
No,
that.
didn't see that
Nobody
one
predicted
coming.
that coming.
Yeah.
Nobody
I
saw that
think-
coming.
I don't think anybody could predict that.
Nobody predicted Luke Perry's son would make one comment on air and throw everything in disarray.
Yeah.
Someone
And,
would
like-
fly off the handle on him.
And kids like that, younger than millennials, they don't know who Luke Perry was. Like they don't know
Yeah.
Luke Perry. We're like, oh, it's Luke Perry's son.
Yeah.
They don't know.
He replaced Sideshow
Who's-
Bob.
Who's like Luke Perry? Get off my lawn.
Well, it's only olds that listen to this podcast. It's fine. They'll
That's
know.
right.
true.
Our
They
audience is aware.
They probably don't know who the Costco guys are
Costco
either.
guys are, yeah.
Right. Or the
I-
Rizzler. What is the Rizzler?
He's got Riz, apparently.
I don't understand.
I don't want to understand.
Youth culture.
He's not Ohio, is what I've heard.
Is he a skibbity toilet?
I still don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Like, I still don't know. I know Ohio is bad. I know Riz is good.
Ohio is bad. I like how Ohio is the standard for bad.
Yeah, I thought you'd appreciate that.
So next up on the card, we have Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher.
I love this.
I kind of like this too. Will is very cocky, very confident of himself. I feel like Will kind of feels like he's above everybody else. So I think it would be cool. This match will be cool because Kyle is up there too with Will. I would like to see Kyle take the match on this one. Maybe humble Will a little bit, like knock him down a couple pegs.
Yeah, I could see that. I think Kyle's gonna win. I think Mark Davis is gonna screw over Will Ospreay. I think that either he's been with Kyle Fletcher the whole time, or Will Ospreay accidentally hit him on Dynamite.
Yeah.
And wrestlers don't take the time to watch the footage and be like, oh, he didn't mean to do that.
No, they just get enraged. They just
immediately get enraged.
never take that,
Yeah.
too far.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I think Kyle Fletcher, Mark Davis turns.
I think Kyle wins. I mean, wasn't Will Hobbs part? Yeah, he was part of the
He was
family.
part of the
and I know that was,
family.
but I don't know. See, now Blasco thinks Osprey wins and that Davis and Hobbs become the new united empire.
Yeah, he talked about that last week on the podcast, which I'm sure both of you listened to, because why would you not? It's a great podcast.
Now I regret having my camera on.
We
But I
both did the same face. We both
know.
went,
Yeah.
I could see that, but I think Mark Davis turning is more likely. I would like to see Hobbs do something because I like Hobbs and he hasn't done much. So I
Yeah.
would like to see him do something. There's a lot of people in AEW who I'm like, I like them. They haven't done much. But
There's a big roster of that. Yeah.
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 So, the big one, John Moxley versus
For control
OC.
of AEW, apparently.
Control of
They just
AEW.
threw that at the end of Dynamite with like 2 seconds left. They're like, they will face for control of AEW. I'm like, really? That's on the line?
Yeah.
When did that happen?
Right. This is new. So, I love OC, but there's no way that he's not
Yeah,
going
there's no
to
way at
get
all.
sacrificed. I wrote OC is just another stepping stone on the way to Mox's next victim.
Yeah, I think this is going to be like 20 minutes of just Moxley beating him up.
Yeah,
And-
it's going to be
and-
brutal.
And it'll be like, look, he's resilient. He's like on Dynamite, where he's like, they 5-on-1 ganged up on him, and he's still doing his like little fake kicks and like putting his hands in his pocket, like he's going to be resilient. I think they're
Yeah.
going to do that. They're just going to beat him up for 20 minutes, and he's just going to not stay down
Do you think
until he does.
Do you think it's going to be just Mox and OC, or do you think everybody else is going to get involved like last night?
I think at the end they're all going to get involved.
Hmm.
Yeah. Mox can't waste a moment to potentially murder someone. So
Right. I would also like to add once again, Pac, full wrestling gear last night.
again,
Everybody else is in clothes.
this
except
time it
Claudio.
makes sense because the show is called Full Gear,
Yeah,
so he should be in full gear.
you should full gear. Yes.
But all the
Everybody's-
rest of them are always just wearing clothes, and he's just like, he
Everybody else
shows,
is in clothes. Here's
They-
Pac.
they
He's
did-
naked
they
and
did that.
moist.
they did that thing in the desert where they were like in the back of a pickup truck, all just wearing like jeans and t-shirts, and he's still wearing wrestling gear. I'm
Well,
like,
'cause when-
you're not going to be called to a match. You're in a desert.
Because when he's not, like when he's in clothes, he's just Ben.
Yeah,
when he's just regular clothes, he's Ben.
it's like just a
His
little like
His little
little
dorky
nerd, yeah.
glasses.
Yeah.
and his hair in a ponytail. But no,
I mean,
when
if
he's
he had his abs though, I think I would always go shirtless too. So I don't blame him.
yeah, wet pack. So
Moist
yeah,
pack.
moist
Yeah,
pack.
there's no way Orange wins this match.
No,
None
No.
whatsoever.
there is no way. Do we think also? I was wondering, like, so obviously Mox is making his way going through the roster. Who's next? Who's next? Who's next? Is there ever going to be a point? Do we think that Mox is going to go too far, and it kind of like he realizes he's gone too far, or do you think
Like too
it's
far in the sense that he bites off more than he can chew, or too far that he like did something more violent than he should have done?
too far? Like bites off more than he can chew.
I think there might be a point where AEW kind of all rallies against him. Like right now, it's kind of just Orange
Mhm.
Cassidy and Darby
hmm
and like a miscellaneous crew of people. I think there might be a point where they all are like, okay, we've had enough of this. We're all going to get together, like the whole roster.
hmm
And then he's going to be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have challenged, 100 people.
I feel like too. Like I wonder when Eddie comes back because Eddie's always kind of been his voice of reason.
Yeah.
What happens there? Do you think? I mean, I feel like Eddie's gonna be like, listen, man, like, what are you doing? What are you
I
doing?
would love Eddie to be the one who does something because I've seen a lot of like fantasy booking of, oh, it's going to be Kenny Omega. It's going to be the Bucks. It's going to be
Mhm.
the Elite who comes back. Like that would be fine. But Eddie would be so much better.
Eddie versus Mox would be so
yeah.
good.
If
It'd be
Eddie
so
came back and tried
heart-wrenching.
to talk sense into him and Mox just wouldn't listen and then like, fine, then we'll have to fight. Like that
Yeah.
would be fun.
That would be fun and sad. I would be like, oh, I'm so torn.
I still think Darby's going to be the one who ends up taking the title from him.
Mhm.
But if it was Eddie, that would be awesome.
That'd be so cool if it was Eddie. I feel like
I'd be really excited.
I feel like Darby always gets. They talk about how he's, not an underdog, but just like I feel like he's had every opportunity handed to him in AEW. Like he's
I
not
think that's why they're doing what they're doing now, where he just gets beat up every show
okay.
to make
That's,
him an underdog. Because yeah, you're right. He's had a ton
had
of opportunities.
a ton of opportunities. Everything's kind of been handed to him in the company, and to say like he's not going to be the next guy is kind of odd.
Yeah, I think that's why they're having him just like get destroyed every show because
Like last night that was insane. Absolutely
okay,
insane.
like I understand that wrestling is not real.
What?
But
I thought for sure he took a head injury last night. I was like,
yeah, how does
out.
Darby do this stuff? Like I don't understand. Like how is he like
His head hit the barricade. I mean, he went
Right.
over that table and into the barricade. His head hit the barricade.
And like when he did the swing into the steps, like yeah, he didn't hit head first, but he still got slammed into steps. Like it still hurt. Like how is he? I worry for Darby's like long-term health
Yeah,
because none of this seems like it's going to last very long.
brain injuries.
Oh, it's his back. I mean,
Yeah, he's playing a risky game with spine injuries.
I
feel
do feel like this is where someone has to be like, hey, Mick Foley, do you want to have a conversation with this guy? Because you know how you've had like Foley wanted to have a retirement match, like a final match,
can't.
and he couldn't because he got
Yeah.
a concussion just like existing, like
Yeah.
not even from doing anything. He just like living his life, and he got a concussion.
I mean, to be
and then was
fair,
like,
that
"Oh,
happens
so
to
I
me.
can't wrestle." Yeah, but you're not trying to wrestle.
No,
No,
but I mean,
maybe,
I get I just live my life and get a concussion.
So I feel like Foley needs to talk to Darby, be like, look, I can't live a life. Like I'm hurt all the time. Like, do you want that? And maybe Darby does. It seems like Darby does. Like seems like Darby's like, yeah, I do want that. I gotta jump off Mount Everest.
Yeah.
maybe that's why they brought Shane O'Mac in. It wasn't for him to wrestle. It's for him to be like, Darby, slow down. Do you remember when I fell off the cage?
And I did that like once a year.
Yeah.
Whereas you do this every week.
Yeah, he's nuts.
He's nuts.
Absolutely insane. He pushes his body to the limit. I give him props for that because he has to be feeling it today. I mean,
yeah. And apparently he's straight edge, so I assume that means he's not taking anything for this.
probably not. No,
So yeah, I don't know.
that's tough.
But it is like speaking of Darby, it's a weird card. Darby's not on it. Takeshita's not on it. There's a few people like the women's title's not there. Like there's a few people
Right.
who aren't. It's a weird, and they didn't even jam pack it with matches. There's like on the main card, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 matches, which is like a regular pay-per-view. But AEW seems to always be like, we're gonna have 12. Like they
Yeah,
try
they
to throw
really
in.
cram a lot in. Do we maybe wonder if there's going to be any kind of surprises that get thrown in?
I think they might do something on the pre-show, like they might do like a 10-person tag just to like get everyone on the show.
Mhm.
But I don't know. like they're kind of leaning towards like Takeshita and Ricochet, so maybe they add that. I don't know.
Maybe could
What are
change.
your overall thoughts for the show though? What are your expectations? What do you?
I mean, I am not very excited about it, but they always kill it with pay-per-view, so I know
Right.
it's going to be a banger. So I
Mhm.
think when I watch it, I'll get excited, but I'm not. It's yeah, I'm not
I feel
like,
the same
"Ooh."
way.
Yeah.
Like there's a couple of matches I really want to see. Like I've liked the build to Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay. I've
Mhm.
liked the Hangman Page, Jay White stuff. Like there's a lot. Like I want to see Bobby Lashley in an actual real match.
Mhm.
Like all that stuff is exciting. But you're right that I'm not like, oh wow, I can't wait to see the show. But again, AEW I don't think has ever had a bad pay-per-view. Every single one of them
Hmm.
is great. So it's going to be great. But I don't know. It's a little odd.
Yeah.
Do you have a pick for what the best match of the night will be?
I think Osprey Fletcher.
Yeah, I think they're going to go nuts.
Yeah, for sure.
I think for me, it's going to be Jack Perry and Daniel Garcia.
Yeah,
That'll
that is
trigger
going to be
me
like
too.
that is going to be a good, and it's a good clash of styles because
Mhm.
Jack Perry is he was a high flyer sort of guy, but now he's a more violent, gritty sort of guy, and Danny Garcia is a more technical guy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that'll be fun. Yeah,
Yeah. I
and
think that's
my next choice is Hangman Page and Jay White. I don't
yeah.
think they can have a bad match.
I love Hangman.
I love Hangman. I hope he goes more and more crazy.
Leaves
Yeah.
his grass. Leaves his
Leaves
plants.
his plants.
Leaves
That
his-
that reply to on Blue Sky to God.
Oh,
You of all people. No,
I have to find it now because it's great.
Did you see the one when he initially joined and he was like, "Hi, I'm Hangman Adam Page. I'm a cowboy and I like plants." And this completely innocent reply was like, "You should like look at this list of like how they have the lists on Blue Sky, like
Yeah.
the feeds." He's like, "Oh, you should try this feed if you really like gardening." And it was just super completely innocent and it was so sweet.
And then I think he wrote something like, I can't show more of my garden because there's somebody who might want to cause damage to my garden. And everyone's like, swerve.
Right, right.
Yeah. Shut up, God. I'm a fucking mess. I thought of all people you would know this.
I like because it starts with, are there the God account, are there
Yeah.
any leftist WWE wrestlers who might want to run for office? And someone tags Hangman Page, Tim Onion from The Onion. He was a social studies teacher. He's on Blue Sky. He's been champ. He drank a guy's blood in a death match recently. What else do you need? He's perfect. Let's do it. Shut up! Hangman's the best. He's incredible.
He's great.
If he just only goes more and more crazy. I do hope that like Swerve releases an invasive species into his garden. It's just like, we planted mint, boy.
Here's your kudzu, bitch.
It's gonna spread everywhere.
Japanese beetles.
I hope you don't have any trees. Good times. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited, but it is.
You just said you weren't.
No, I'm excited. Like it's because it's going to be good. Like the
Oh.
show is going to be good, but
Yeah.
it is odd. to be
Yeah.
honest.
It's not a super like wow kind of card, but we could. I mean, like you said, they always seem to kill it.
I was gonna say it's those ones where it isn't like a wild card that
Yeah,
ends
like
up being
all-
like,
like
where the
all-
hell where
Out
did the-
last year, we thought it was
Yeah.
going to be like a bore, and it was
Mhm.
great.
yeah,
So-
like
Well, another question. What Blasco was saying. Do you think we find out anything more about what Moxley's doing? Like why he's doing this?
I hope so because I'm trying to be patient and but I'm like, all right, it's been the same thing like for like a month at least now. Let's
Mhm.
get on with it.
I think
Yeah.
if we don't find out on Full Gear, which I don't think we will, I hope we do, but I think if we don't, we're never going to. I don't think. Then I think there just isn't anymore. It's just Mox wants to beat people up and say disturbing things.
I hope there's more of a plan than that.
I don't think. I honestly don't think there is because I think if there was, they would have done something. So far, I don't know.
Maybe he's just doing it to try to get a tables match just to piss Renee off because she really hates tables. I don't know.
Because to me, it seems like Mox reads stuff or watches stuff and is like, that seemed really cool. I want to do that on TV,
Mhm.
and then just does it on TV. But like, there's no thinking past that. Not to insult Mox, I like Mox.
Yeah.
But I think he doesn't think past like that would be really cool if I did that or said that on TV, and then does it. It was like, okay, what's the next really cool thing I can do? And there's no like, there's nothing
And then
further than
Renee's
that.
tweeting like, no, because he does something incredibly violent. She's like, no.
I mean, he hasn't had a match where he bleeds a whole bunch in a long time. He used to bleed every single time he was on TV.
Yep.
He
Yeah.
hasn't done that yet.
He hasn't bled in a while.
Yeah.
Maybe that's coming this Saturday. Maybe
Well-
OC will draw blood.
I'm wondering if finally enough people are like, dude, calm down on the blading.
Yeah.
But
You don't need to blade every single match.
Yeah.
That and the biting people. I don't like the biting thing. I'm not a fan of because it's like it's fine if they do it once in a while, like a really brutal feud. But like, it seems like every violent match has someone biting someone. I'm like, you don't need to do it every single match. It's a little much.
Mm-mm.
It's a mouthy bunch.
They love to bite.
Yum
Yeah,
yums.
but I don't think we learn any more from Mox. I think he just, this is it. I thought there was going to be something like when he was like, it's not your company anymore. I thought there'd be something behind it, like what he wants to accomplish. I think what he wants to accomplish is just hurting people.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that seems kind of like the Mox way to do things.
Yeah.
So anything else? Any other thoughts about the show? Anything to add?
I do not like how they're using Sheeta right now. She's like basically almost a jobber now.
Yeah.
I don't think that's cool.
Sheeta kind of seems like it's just like she's a good wrestler. When we need a good match, we're going to put Sheeta in, but that's the extent of it. They're not like,
Yeah, I don't like that.
hmm
I mean, the girl can cut a promo in her second language better than some of these fools can in their only language. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. I think we have to have a whole other episode on the women's division and the women's wrestlers because they were doing better, but I don't think they really are anymore.
Yeah. At least we got a match before 9:30 last night with women.
Yeah, but then we only have one match on the pay-per-view, so
Right.
that's the monkey's paw.
Mhm.
You got a match before 9, but you only get one match on the pay-per-view.
yeah, it's like as soon as Tony, went on her vacation, like it just
Mhm.
Yeah, I hope Tony comes back. Maybe Tony Khan is waiting for Tony Storm to come back.
Maybe.
it's a Tony party.
Yeah, Tony Schiavone on
Yeah.
commentary. It'd be great. Tony. Wasn't that a band in the 90s?
Yes, Tony,
Mhm.
Tone.
Yes.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah, bring the three of them into that. That's a good reference we need. But yeah, I got nothing else.
Okay. Me either. Okay. So I think that wraps us up for today. So again, thank you for listening to Elite City Pod. And remember, we are at Elite City Pod on all our socials. We're not on the bad one anymore. We're all off of the bad one now, I think.
Yeah.
So subscribe, like, hit the bell, whatever you do, however you listen to us. And thank you guys for listening. And we enjoy being here. Thanks. Bye.